Hello! If you are watching this video, you must be thinking about Christmas time. It is such a magical time, and it is never too early to start thinking about making a gingerbread creation. I'm Sarah Eicher, and I entered my first creation into the Jacksonville Gingerbread Extravaganza in 2013. This here is my 2019 entry. Each year seems to be an experiment. I use different products and techniques. I sometimes find that old techniques I used before won't work because of the higher humidity in the air or some other factor. This is the first of 3 videos. I hope to give you some tips and guide you through the process of making a gingerbread creation. The first video will cover where to get ideas, planning your design, and what makes a good base to build on. Most people think of gingerbread houses and buildings, and these can be very simple to very complex houses. There are so many choices out there. The Jacksonville Historical Society hosts the Gingerbread Extravaganza, and of course would love to see some historical buildings. And you can get online and find a lot of historical photos of Jacksonville. You can also look in your own neighborhood, and there might be an old house or possibly a church or a museum that represents your neighborhood. You could build a seaside cottage or a barn that you pass every day. You could build your own home or your childhood home. Like I said, these structures do not have to be elaborate. They can be very simple. It's how you dress them up at the end that makes them fun and interesting. You can get ideas from books specifically on gingerbread houses. There's several books out there that you probably could find in your library. You could also look at home plans and real estate magazines for ideas. You can get ideas for entryways or windows, other features of houses, and you don't have to make them exactly the house that you see. You can combine several features into one house. I often refer to gingerbread creation rather than gingerbread houses because there are so many things that you can build besides buildings with gingerbread. Think of a scene from your favorite movie, or you might look at your favorite storybooks. I love children's books, and I made the Elves and the Shoemaker one year, and I took an image out of the Quilt Maker's Gift another year. I have seen people make games out of gingerbread, such as the Christmas-themed chessboard, Operation, and Candyland. You could even make up your own game. Of course, Pinterest.com has a lot of ideas that you can look at. Another good website is gingerbreadhouseheaven.com. And you also could get on to the National Gingerbread Contest website that has a lot of the past entries that you could get ideas from. Now I would like to show you just a few past entries that show very simple structures to very complex buildings, and some that have actually very little gingerbread, and one that is actually a flat surface with colorful buildings painted with icing on it. Once you have an idea, look for pictures. These you will work from later on. I collect lots of pictures. This is one little mouse I wanted to incorporate into this entry, and you can see him right here. I also love brambly hedge pictures, and you can see a lot of things in these pictures that I incorporated also into this entry. Another creation I needed to make a storefront, so I collected lots of pictures of storefronts, and I incorporated those into this entry. Something that you might want to do is sketch out the layout of your gingerbread idea And here you can see a sketch that I made out of for this entry. And I will turn this so you can see the other side. And you can see the cat on one side and the mouse home on the other side. You also, if you're building a house, you could build a little cardboard model to give you an idea of the size. And this you can also use when you start cutting out your gingerbread dough as a template. The next thing that you need to think about is a base. Your base cannot flex. A good material to use to build a base is plywood. It can be cut to any shape or size. You also could add some extra support pieces. This piece I needed for a mountain scene that had several layers of flat gingerbreads. So this helped support that. I also used this base another year, and I wanted it a little bit elevated. I cover my bases with aluminum foil and tape it underneath. So my edges are shiny. So I prefer to cover them with something. A lot of people cover it with a ribbon. I used a fondant ribbon here. I also have cut out small gingerbread cookies and placed them around the edge. Another thing that you need to think about with a base is placing small strips of wood or feet on the bottom. They don't have to be very big, just enough for your fingers to get underneath and lift your base. It makes it so much easier to move your creation. You also might want to think about whether you want any lighting or something else that might need wiring in your creation. And this, you might need to drill a hole for that wiring in your base. So this ends this session. So go plan your creation, collect pictures, get your base ready, and dream of sugar plums to come. The second video will cover gingerbread dough, baking it, and constructing your creation.